This morning, we hear some straight talk from country music star Charles Kelley of Lady A. The trio has been making hits like What If I Never Get Over You for 17 years. Last year, the band postponed a tour to allow Kelley to seek treatment for alcohol abuse. Gayle King caught up with Kelley and his wife, Cassie, in their home in Nashville for an honest conversation about the performer's path to sobriety.
Charles Kelley has seen the highest highs as one-third of chart-topping country trio, Lady A.
How many Grammys is it? 1,
7.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
7.
I know.
But Kelley says behind the scenes, his relationship with alcohol was taking a turn for the worse.
I remember joking, everyone with buddies, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely a functioning alcoholic. And I said, I know I'm going to have to stop at some point, but that's not today. Mm-hmm. And that was always kind of my little joke. It was like, that tells you, I kind of knew.
Oh, I miss those days. Kelley says his bandmates, Hillary Scott and Dave Haywood, knew too.
I think it was about, it might have been about 5 years ago now where Dave and Hillary had set me down. It was the first time that they had really, we would have shows where like, hey man, you might have had a little too much to drink that night. Or I was like, okay, well, has it affected how hard I work? Has it affected the shows?
And what did they say to that?
I think it was more just, I'm worried about you. And to me, I think, if I remember correctly, it was more about how I would speak to them when I was drinking. Mm-hmm. I'd be very dismissive, very quick. There was never any physical stuff, but very emotional and verbal, just, I think, outburst. I could recognize that was alcohol-induced for sure.
Kelley also revealed how his wife Cassie said that his drinking affected their 7-year-old son, Ward.
Cassie would tell me some stories about how little things that Ward would say that I didn't even know he was noticing. Daddy's talking a little funny. Or, you and Daddy y'all argue a lot.
But just to hear Ward said, Daddy's talking a little funny. What did that do to you when you heard that?
That crushed me. So little, things like that, just, he's the most important thing in my life, hands down.
No, you said that you had tried to quit before.
Yeah.
But you have never tried this way. What was the difference between what you did before and what you did this time?
Well, I'll admit, I went to a rehab facility for a month, and
you had never done that before.
Oh my gosh, I was scared to death. I'd had several people and several therapists suggest it, and I said no. I will never, ever go into a rehab facility. I was like, that's for people that wake up in the morning and,
they're in the sidewalk.
Yeah, they're pouring up, know. And what I've learned is there's degrees of alcoholics. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the things too that I want to even share is like, just because you're not living on the street or you're not waking up in a bush, like some stories you may hear, it can get there, and it can get there really easily. And it's like no one that starts drinking just, starts at the top. It's just this gradual thing. And so, but for me, putting the tools in.
What are your tools?
A lot of meetings. I go to a lot of group meetings with other alcoholics, and I've got a case manager. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I've got this little device I blow in every morning and every night, and it's not even for me. It's for my wife. It's for the band. It's for everyone else to know, because I think
Are you checking alcohol then?
Yeah, and so slowly but surely that has built the trust back. That eventually I think that won't be a necessity.
We asked Cassie to join the conversation to discuss the journey she learned is just as much hers.
One thing that I was shocked about when he was in rehab and I went out there for family week, and one of the first messages you receive is, you're going to have to do just as much work here. And I remember being so mad.
Thinking, I don't have an issue.
Well, right. Like, you did this. And now I have to do all of this work too. But the truth is that, they call it the family disease of alcoholism, and it affects every person in that family system. So I could have chosen not to do the work, but then I have to live with the way that I've been affected and unhealed. So whether Charles and I were in a marriage or not, whether I saw him again for the rest of my life, I still had to deal with what I had gone through.
Why did you stay, Cassie?
Um,
I know you love him, but why did you
Yes.
stay?
you know,
Sometimes love isn't enough.
Well, I don't think love is always enough. I mean, I think a marriage is built on a lot more than just love. But I think ultimately, when I thought about, well, we have a 7-year-old who is either going to be in my home all the time, or he's going to be half the time in a home with his dad where I have no idea what's happening in that environment. And in order for me to take myself out of his life every day, it just never got to be that bad. Until it just is, you know? And that's kind of where we were leaving Greece.
Charles describes what happened during that trip.
Basically, we had gotten in an argument, and I just turned my phone off in a middle of nowhere and just took off and stayed up drinking with all these random people I didn't know. That you didn't know. And I was and just literally woke up she woke up at 7 and
Well,
I
I
called her
never
and
went to sleep.
Oh, because he didn't come home.
sleep.
Yeah, he
Wives don't
disappeared.
like that.
No, but we had got in an
Yeah,
argument,
wow.
and I had one of those moments where I just was like, I'm so sick of being told what to do, and I turned off the phone, and I didn't realize I had eight of my friends looking for me all night.
Cassie says that was almost the beginning of the end.
The next morning, I said, you need help. You have to deal with this. And he said he knew. And he made a plan with his manager and he flew directly from Greece to treatment. But at that point, I thought I was fully flying back to the U.S. I was going to meet with a divorce attorney. That was it.
What do you think, Charles, when you hear that? She was thinking about a divorce attorney.
I mean, I guess, again, it just makes me feel so grateful at how close I came to losing it all. And I think the thing that's hard is to know how much it affected Cassie the most and my band and the people around me, and how much it emotionally kind of wrecked them for a while. And that you can't really say I'm sorry enough. And it's just going to take time to rebuild that.
Charles Kelley's road to recovery includes therapy sessions with his group. This past spring, Lady A launched their Request Line tour at the historic Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, where Kelley sang a song that he wrote. It's called As Far As You Could. He calls it his goodbye letter to alcohol.
'Cause you taken me as far as you could.
You could hear the interview. What were you thinking as he was talking?
Yeah, I'm really proud of him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because,
you.
It's not easy to walk through, and it's not easy to, stay connected and to just put your head down and do the work, because it is a lot of work. And, because he keeps showing up every day, I get to keep showing up every day. And our family gets to be intact. So I'm really, really proud of him.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I couldn't do it without her support. I really think.
No,
You know-
Charles Kelley, you are deeply loved.
I know.
You must
I
feel
it.
that.
I do. I
must
feel a lot
feel
of
that.
love.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, if you or a loved one is having a problem with alcohol, help is available through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline. I'm so glad Charles did this, his wife Cassie, so glad that they talked about this in this way. And too, it had to have been pretty scary for him to sit next to his wife in front of Gayle and to wait to hear what she brought to the table. And I'm sure they had conversations, but I felt it. Didn't you feel him?
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show, no matter how successful you are, you have no idea what people are going through or what the circumstances are at home. So for her to step up, as she said, and be not only a support, but do work on herself, that takes a very big person.
Also, the notion of not letting somebody go who's at a low. You stay with them and try to get them back to
That's
that place
love.
where they need to be. That's love for sure.
That's called marriage.